back to Inside Songwriting on YouTube. I'm Karl Broadie, and this is episode 2 of my video blog. What did I want to talk to you about today? Well, firstly I want to say that this episode is brought to you today by My Fresh Juice. Yes, I'm on it again. Can't help it, guys. It's the beetroot, lemon, carrot and apple and ginger. It's so good. And I'm just about to head out to a songwriters night that I run, which is at the moment I'm looking at the ocean right there. And I run a songwriters night, which is a couple of beaches away down in Coogee. So I'm just north of Bondi in New South Wales, in Sydney. That's where I'm talking to you from. What do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about where to start if you're a songwriter and you just sort of struggle with a starting point. There's loads of things we can do to get off the ground. And I think one of the most important things you can do is, and I'm sure you have Scribbles, right? You've been scribbling down lyrics or poetry or something, and if you haven't already written lots of songs and you're struggling with where to start, get your Scribbles out. All the greats have boxes and boxes of journals, and lots of filmmakers have the same thing. I think it's Woody Allen that collects index cards with his ideas. You need ideas. You have to start somewhere, and ideas we should be collecting. Songwriters, we should be walking around collecting every day. One of my New Year's resolutions this year, it's February 2014 right now. I had to think for a second there. It's going so fast. And one of my New Year's resolutions this year was to write down a phrase a day. And that would be, something that really sort of appeals to me as a strong phrase, strong wording, strong lyrical language and musical language within words that appeals to me for perhaps the topic of a song. We need good content. The biggest thing with songwriting, in my mind, is ultimately having something that was important enough to write about in the first place, something meaningful, something with a purpose in terms of is it going to move you? Are you going to be moved by your own art? Are you going to, in turn, move others? So go around and collect. You know what a good phrase is because you know what songs move you. The don'ts in this situation are don't be inspired by average songs. Just because it's massive, just because it appeals to the masses, doesn't mean that that's what you should be aiming for. You need to aim for something that's going to move you, and that in turn will move others. We spoke about this in episode 1 when I quoted Seth Godin, saying that only when you connect with one will you be more likely to connect with many. So there is a difference. There's a difference between something having appeal and getting played on mainstream radio and stuff. It may be because something before that was really good, but then a trend starts. And then so a lot of songs that are similar and follow the same sort of format, same form, would then be played on the same radio station and on the same format across multiple radio stations. And of course have the same appeal online as well. So you need to really start somewhere where there's a real fire that's going to move you. And those powerful one-liners that that stop you in your tracks when you're reading, when you're listening to other people's music, you need to find those ones. And that could be like in 1 of 100 phrases that you write down. Keep them all. I haven't been writing one a day, but I've been trying. And I've got lots. And sometimes a line that I notice, sometimes a line that jumps out at me might not have jumped out at me the day before. So don't throw them away either, because it's to do with your environment and your mood on any given day, as to how you interpret those lines that you've written down, and how you will eventually translate that into a song. We're looking for something that can be a great topic to center the song around, so a starting point. So you know exactly what I'm talking about with one-liners. They're the ones that really hit home. And here's a little tip as well. If you are a great lyricist, if you're a wordsmith with an abundance of powerful one-liners that you just keep pouring out, use them sparingly, because if in the same way that if everything's urgent, nothing's urgent, it's difficult to prioritize. And the same applies with great one-liners. If you want the content and the topic of your song and some magic moments in your song to have real impact, you need to set it up well so that when you deliver that killer line, it has impact. If it's surrounded by incredible one-liners, or if the intensity is matched by the other lines, then you're going to lessen the impact of that killer line. So, of course, I want to hear your songs with, great one-liners. But think about the intensity of it as well, and use it sparingly. There's sort of a lot of, you need to work out how to create tension in the song, and that's a really good tip, is to sort of save that killer line leading up to it with lines that are not as intense. And there's lots of ways you can do that. It's the same as any great storytelling, it's the same as any comedians. It's all about the punchline, right? But the way they tell the story is why we're engaged. And that's what we're doing here with songwriting. So I think that's a great starting point. There's lots of other things I want to talk to you about, but finding a great phrase that really appeals to you is a great way of kicking off your song. And another thing, if you want to flick over to the audio version of this podcast, I speak in length. The episodes are about 40 minutes to an hour, and the most recent one was episode 12, where I interviewed Golden Guitar winner Luke O'Shea, and we talk about this on that podcast. He's got a great song called My Dad's Bottom Drawer, and the idea behind that song was fantastic. The intrigue of a child exploring their parents' bottom drawer, the contents of the bottom drawer, and the imagination of a child, the way we create stories behind the objects that we find. Another great reason to write a song. Like I said, I'm about to head over to Coogee, to my Songwriters Night that I host, and I'm going to play a song tonight that's really new, and it's called Little Red Fire Maker, and that's a brand new one. And I mean, it's interesting because Little Red Fire Maker is it's a phrase I came up with when I was thinking about writing a song about someone who writes songs. And I used that phrase when I was considering that that's what we're doing as songwriters. We're rubbing sticks together or to spark a flame, or we're finding things that will inflame, and we put it all together, And I think I might leave you with that as a thought. That's your starting point, guys. Choose some phrases. If you haven't, then get scribbling. You just have to look around you. There's colors, there's objects, there's furniture. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. There are interesting things to write songs about. Go and write a song. I look forward to talking to you next time. All the best. This episode was brought to you by My Fresh Juice.